Hello, welcome back. In this video, I'm going to be going over 3 ACT math questions. For all these problems, I recommend pausing the video and trying all the problems yourself first before you see me solve them. Without wasting any time, let's get into it. Question 24 says, if the equation x squared plus 8x plus s equals 0 has only one solution, then s equals what? So for this problem, you need to recognize that the equation given to us is a quadratic equation. A quadratic equation is ax squared plus bx plus c, right? Where a is the coefficient of the x squared term, b is the coefficient of the x term, and then c is our constant, right? In this case, it's s. So remember, when we want a quadratic equation to only have one solution, we want to set the discriminant, which is b squared minus 4ac. This is our discriminant. We want to set the discriminant equal to 0, right? In this case, we are solving for c, which is s. Notice that the coefficient of the x squared term is 1. Of the x term, it's 8. And then our constant, which is s, is what we're solving for. So now we can replace a, b, and c. So 8 squared minus 4 times a, which is 1, times s, right? Equals 0. And now we can solve for s. 64 minus 4s equals 0. 64 equals 4s because we add 4s, right? And now we can divide by 4, and we get s equals 16. So 24 is K. On to the next question, question 45. Which says, if the circumference of the circle pictured below is 16 pi units, what is the unit length of AC? So for this question, you need to realize that the diameter of the circle is equal to the side length of the square, right? And we can figure out the side length of the square by figuring out the diameter of the circle. It tells us that the circumference of the circle is 16 pi units. Remember, the circumference of the circle is equal to pi times the diameter. And this is because the circumference of a circle is equal to 2 pi r, right? And 2 times the radius equals the diameter. So 16 pi equals pi times d. We can solve for d, right? Because the pi's cancel out, so 16 equals d. So that means the diameter of the circle is 16, so that the side length of the square is also 16. Right? And now we can just solve for AC, because remember, a square can be broken down into 2 equal triangles, right? We'll focus on this one. So this is 16, this is 16. This is our legs of the triangle, right? Right triangle. And now to figure out AC, it's just the hypotenuse. And you can just do 16 squared plus 16 squared. This is the Pythagorean theorem. Equals c squared. 256 plus 256 equals c squared. 512 equals c squared. And then now, if we take the square root of c, we get c equals 16 root 2. And that matches answer choice C. On to the last question, question 59, which says, if m equals n and p is greater than q, then which of the following inequalities holds true in all cases? So for this problem, instead of working with variables, what I would do is I would just plug in numbers and see which one gives us. I would plug in numbers for M, N, P, and Q, and plug those numbers into all 5 of these answer choices and see which one gives us a true statement. So for M, let's pick 1, which means N also has to be 1. Let's make P like 4, and let's make Q 1. So now let's test the first statement, A. M minus P, that is -3, is greater than N minus Q, 0. That's not true. -3 is less than 0. Let's test statement B. P minus M, so that is 3, is less than Q minus N. Q minus N is 0. That's not true either. B's out as well. Now let's test C. M minus P, that's -3, is less than N minus Q. That is true. -3 is less than 0. C works. M times P, which is 4, is greater than N times Q, which is 1. That works as well. E, M plus Q, which is 2, is greater than N plus P. That is not true, because N plus P is 5. 2 is not greater than 5, so E is out as well. So we're left with C and D. And the thing to notice for C and for D is that if M was 0, right, that would mean N also has to be 0, right? But if M is 0, then M times P is going to be 0. And N times Q is also going to be 0, right? Because if M is 0, then N is 0. And then this statement wouldn't work. So D is out as well. So this means the answer to this question is C. I hope my explanations made sense, and thank you for watching.